Greetings, greetings, greetings. It is always wonderful to be here. Today, we have a really, really important conversation on 5 mistakes to avoid when introducing yourself. The ability to make a strong professional connection and extend your professional circle is one of the keys to growth in the business world. Whether making connections with potential clients or establishing relationships with other professionals in the field, networking can be a very essential part of your professional success. But how exactly do you go about making these connections? And how do we make a great first impression? This live stream is coming at such a perfect time. Just this morning, I was working out and watching the Today channel. It is a family-friendly news program for those of you around the globe. There was a job search strategist being interviewed. The strategist had many great points, and I wanted to be sure to get their name so I could quote them in this video, as well as a video completely devoted to what was learned during that interview. I hope the producers of the Today Show are listening, because there was a missed opportunity for this strategist, which could have been easily avoided by practicing one of the following tips. In the 15 years since I founded Corporate Speech Solutions, I have had the opportunity to meet hundreds of individuals in many circumstances, formal meetings, informal meetings, and yes, even on an elevator. It is so easy to make a great first impression, but many individuals fall short of doing so. My name is Jayne Latz. I am founder of Corporate Speech Solutions. And in this live stream, I am going to share with you 5 common mistakes to avoid when simply introducing yourself. It is also important to keep in mind the interaction is not about you. Rather, I want you to think about why should the person or persons you are speaking with be interested in what you have to say. I first want to acknowledge Lawrence, who's watching, and thank you so much for your kind words. For those watching, I always love to share where you're calling in from, where you're watching from, because my videos tend to get a very diverse audience, and I just love to engage with individuals around the globe. So are we ready? Mistake number 1 is not having your introduction ready. You might think that working at a company for many years gives you the opportunity to be ready with your pitch or your description of your company when you meet someone the first time. However, that is not often the case. Just yesterday, I was in Rhode Island. I was working with a group of emerging leaders, and I asked them for introductions. We went around the table for introductions. They struggled to simply state their role. Next week, starting on Monday, I am kicking off a series of training for leaders in a healthcare company. And one of the topics that was decided on for a segment of the training is the ability to introduce the company. Again, this is something so important because if you are not able to clearly talk about your role or your company, you will struggle with getting the words out. In many cases, the opportunities take place to network and connect very quickly, often in passing. This is why every professional needs to be ready for a quick introduction, a very short summary of what you do, who you are, and of course, a little bit about the company. So when you are ready with your introduction, you will not stumble over what you are saying, and you will always sound confident. So be ready with your introduction. Brief pause. I want to thank Don for being here. I'm honored to have you here with us. Hello, John. And again, let us know where you're calling in from. Are you ready for the mistake number 2 when introducing yourself? Not connecting with your listener. People do business with people they like and trust. How do you develop that? Did you know that 55% of the initial impression you make in 30 to 60 seconds is nonverbal? It's your body language. Are you looking at the individual when you are speaking with them, or are you glancing at your phone because you just got a beep? Are you smiling when you meet somebody? Begin with the awareness of your facial expressions. If you did not really get their name because they said it too quickly, if you look confused, that'll give them feedback. You always want to give your communication partner feedback. Again, the eye contact is so important to connect. Head nods to let them know that you're interested in what is being said. So make sure that you connect with your listener. Put that phone away. No matter how many times it dings during the conversation, put it away. Mistake number 3. And here's where I want a drum roll. The mistake is rapidly introducing yourself. This morning, the producers at Today had an error with this. And I shouldn't say the producers, but the producers need to tell the stars. So this tip is for you. Today, while I was watching the episode I talked about earlier, I was anxiously waiting for the name of the expert, the strategist that was giving job searching techniques. But unfortunately, the anchor at the end said the name so rapidly, I got Dan, but I didn't get the rest. In all my workshops, we talk about the importance of the strategic delivery of your message. And yes, I have people practice saying their name. It's awkward. What do I mean? Let me back up. I put a pause between my first name and my last name. So I happen to have a very simple name. But people around the globe, people from China, Japan, Ukraine, India, they weren't raised with someone with the name Jayne or Latz. So I put a pause in there. Jayne Latz. It feels awkward at first because you're used to saying your name rapidly. But practice just like your new golf swing, practice just like your new tennis swing, practice just like any musical instrument that requires a great deal of practice. In time, it will be very natural for you to say your first name, pause, and your last name. And this is also important for your company. My company is Corporate Speech Solutions. Even though it is written right here, I want to make sure when I meet someone, they can go right to the search bar and put it in and find details out about the company. So remember the importance of the pause when you are introducing yourself. And producers of all the news programs, tell your anchors, have them practice putting in that extra beat when they are introducing someone's name, especially when the name is not streamed below, as was the case in today's program. So, mistake number 3 is rapidly introducing yourself. Be sure to put in the pause. Okay, let's see. Donnell says, connection before content. It doesn't mean the content doesn't matter. It means that without the connection, the content won't matter. So well said. Thank you for that contribution. We need to connect before we get started. And when I do my live presentations, that is actually the first training tip that I give, because without that connection, people aren't listening. Mistake number 4, lack of clarity. Are you clear in the delivery of your message? Are you clear in what you are offering or what you would like from the individual? Are you clear in how you are speaking? Or is the message lost because there's a tendency to ramble and not get to the point? So be clear in your introductions, clear about what it is you do, what it is you offer, what it is you might want from this interaction. Be clear in both the delivery of your message and the content. Last week, I did a live virtual presentation, and there's a question that's asked about how important is communication. And I'm going to share with you some of the feedback that I received in the chat box, because they were full of great ideas. And I'm just going to share a few here, but they said it so well. Strong communication provides the opportunity to clearly deliver the message and minimize misunderstandings. And that is so important, because misunderstanding will lead to lost opportunities, lost money. So we always want to be clear. Clear communication helps to get the team together on the same page with the same goal. And clear communication helps jobs, projects to get done efficiently and on schedule. And again, those comments were given to me by participants in one of my programs. It shows just how important clear communication is. And last, mistake number 5 is don't forget to smile. Remember, I said people do business with people they like and trust. A few years ago, someone came to me for public speaking training. He wanted to become a partner in his firm. And when we met, and I've recorded him, I said at the end, I didn't see you smile once. And if you're going to be a partner, you're going to be responsible for bringing in business. And people do business with people they like and trust. He was aware of that. And he came back the following week, and I noticed that he smiled twice. And when I commented, he said, I practiced all week. Many people don't feel comfortable smiling. It's very natural for me, as you may tell. However, if you're in a business that depends on relationships, even a smile can be practiced and developed. So you can learn to change behaviors. I want to remind you again about these 5 mistakes. I want to recap because I think they're so important. And by the way, if you would like to add, if you have a mistake that you want to share, by all means, put it in the comments section. But to recap, those 5 mistakes that I wanted to bring to your awareness today is 1, not being prepared with your introduction. So remember, the flip side is be prepared with your introduction. Number 2, the lack of connecting to your listener. So again, my tip is be mindful of that connection. It's so important to not be one-sided. Communication is a two-way street. So connect with your audience, whether it's 1 or 1,000, so that you can have stronger communication. And introduce yourself. My favorite today. Don't rapidly introduce yourself. Remember the power of the pause. My name is Jayne Latz. Notice that pause. Notice the impact. You practice. Put in the pause. Let me know how it goes in the comments section. And remember that the practice will lead to the success. It won't be natural today or tomorrow. Be clear. Make sure that you are clear in the delivery of your message. Be sure that both the content and the delivery states what it is you want. Clarity is essential. And don't forget to smile. Donnell says, check for genuine smiles. Absolutely. Believe it or not, Donnell, I was accused many, many years ago. I don't want to say how long, but many years ago, someone came over to me and said, nobody can be happy all the time. And it doesn't mean that I'm not genuine if I'm smiling. I love what I do. I love educating people. If you've ever seen me do a presentation, I am full of great energy. I love what I do. The smile is natural. But yes, Donnell, be sure it is a genuine smile. If it's only on the lips, it comes across as fake. We see that in photographs. Real smiles involve the whole face, especially the crinkles around the eyes. Well, thankfully, you can't always see my crinkles, but they're there. And thank you for the word crinkles rather than a different word that sounds similar. It's better to actually feel it than to just show it. And the bonus, the more you smile, the more you feel like smiling. So hopefully you all think my smile is authentic. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I want to know how I'm being perceived, but great comments. HLA, I admire what you're saying. Maybe won't work in some places, but I'm sure it's different in the States. Share where you're from because I do know that connections are different around the globe. And when I work with people around the globe, we take that into consideration. It depends if they're working with people in the United States or around the globe. So, great comment. Dr. Ben McGee, if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Absolutely. That goes with what I just said. I love what I do. When I do feedback forms on my presentations, people often comment about my passion. It is true. I just had business travel yesterday, the day before, and yesterday, going to do a presentation in Rhode Island. And I came home and I was tired. It was a long day, but it was so worth it. And I will be back there next month. Thank you, Donnell, for that wonderful comment. John, I love hearing that you've been practicing. That's what I'm here for. And by the way, if you go to my YouTube channel, which we can put in the comments section, you will get so much more. There's so many tips and so much more to learn. John said, commerce and trade is global, but you are right. Thank you. Thank you. And a LinkedIn user says, do you have any advice on meet and greet short intro speech in a corporate environment? Absolutely. Absolutely. Connection. If you're on, I have connected with people on an elevator. So even if it's a quick elevator ride, smile, eye contact, be brief, be concise. Because when you get off that elevator, you can always have a lengthier conversation, or someone may even take the elevator down just to learn more. And remember, it's not about you. It's about why should they listen? What do you have to offer? Be concise. Donnell just complimented Kara. And Kara, I am so sorry. I did not even see your comments. So I'm sorry if I missed it. So feel free to post it again. Let me see what else. HLA. Oh, Hallie. Oh, excellent. Excellent. You work in Kuwait. We have actually had clients in Kuwait. So you are right. And if you're not doing business with people in the United States, connecting is very different. And Jazzy Jane, I like that. Checking in from Memphis. Wonderful, Memphis. Thanks for all that you do for the betterment of the presentation of our personal brand per communication. Thank you for that comment. I just said yesterday in Rhode Island that I am so humbled. And it actually, just like that comment, it brings tears to my eyes when I see comments from around the world to some of my videos on YouTube where I have had such a large impact on the life of many individuals that couldn't otherwise get the training. So I am humbled. Thank you, King Alpha, for those very, very kind words. So, in wrapping up, and yes, I'll quickly look if anything else comes in. In wrapping up, if you are a producer of a news program or the Today Show, remember when you're doing introductions, you're saying someone's name, practice the power of the pause. Insert that pause between the first name and the last name. I'm Jayne Latz, founder of Corporate Speech Solutions. I'm also known as the communication trainer, and I look forward to hearing from each one of you about your success when you practice the tips that I shared today. So go out, practice communication, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live stream. Have a wonderful day or evening, depending where you are.